On today's Around Town, learn about the latest enhanced services at the Cleveland Division of EMS. And there was a major announcement made by the Cleveland Metropolitan School District and the Mid-American Conference.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I'd like to thank Mayor Jackson, Assistant Director Eckert. I got Captain Madzak, who is representing Commander Stocko today. And I got CARE President Daniel Nemeth and CWA Steward Michael Threed also in attendance. Thank you all for coming today. Today we're here to announce the opening of 3 new EMS bases which will provide an enhanced level of service to the community. And these services are all part of the 2017 Mayor's Enhanced Budget, where we hired a class of 27 and they graduated in July, as you're aware, and now they are finally clearing their duties with a field training officer to open up these extra units at the 1st District, 2nd District, and 4th District. And to begin the talks, I would like to have Mayor Jackson talk a little bit for a few moments.
Hi, good morning, afternoon, good afternoon. You know, as the Commissioner mentioned, this is part of our enhanced budget, so I want to start off by thanking all those who voted for issue 32, because without issue 32, we would not be able to do this enhancement, and we would probably be talking about how we were going to be reducing services. But what this gives us is the ability, as the Commissioner mentioned, to right now have 3 additional ambulances on the street, 2 more during the day, 1 more at night, and it also gives us the ability to, when this is over with, I think within the next couple of months, if I'm not mistaken, we'll have 7 additional ambulances on day to get up to 25 ambulances and 25 at night. It also, today we begin 47 cadets will be going into EMS cadet class. They will spend their time there, and when they graduate, they will be able to come out on the street and field all the additional ambulances that we'll be putting out on the street. And we, this evening in council, will be introducing legislation to purchase 4 additional ambulances. We've already done 5. This year we'll be purchasing 4 more. So the combination of 47 cadets, a total of 9 additional ambulances, and building up our ability to put on 7 additional ambulances from 18 to 25 during the day, and from 18 to 21 at night. And that gives the Commissioner and her people the ability to be flexible enough to assign vehicles and personnel wherever it is the most needed. So I'll turn this back over to the Commissioner, who will explain a little more, and then we'll turn it over to Assistant Director Eckert.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to recap the enhanced budget that we've had for 2017 and kind of where we started and where we're at today. We had the 27 cadets. They graduate in July, and they are now released to full duty, and that's who's opening up the ambulances at the 1st District, the 2nd District, and the 4th District. The one here at the 2nd District will operate 24 hours a day, and at the 1st and 4th District, they will operate during the day shift. In addition, we had 8 emergency medical dispatchers that we added to our count for dispatchers, and they will be released by the end of the month, and they will actually decrease the amount of time it takes for a 911 call to be answered, and then we're adding an additional dispatcher with them so they can actually utilize the resources to its fullest capacity. Additionally, today, this morning, at 8 o'clock, we brought on 47 additional emergency medical technicians and paramedics, and they will be in training through the end of December. So by the beginning of next year, they are the ones who will staff the additional ambulances, getting us up to 25 ambulances on day shift, like the mayor said, and 21 on night shift. And that's the enhanced budget package for our field personnel. Also, we have 4 additional EMT supervisors, our captains, that will be adding by the end of this year into the beginning of next year. And what they will do is increase the service for our field supervision to ensure that the paramedics are utilizing their skills appropriately and provide the best oversight for them. Now I'd like to have Assistant Director Eckert talk for a few moments. Director?
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. I think the most important thing that we would want to get across today is all of this is as the result of a major collaboration. That collaboration starts with Mayor Jackson's leadership in leading the city to pass Issue 32 to provide the resources to be able to take the number of EMS ambulances up to 25 in the first quarter of 2018. That's an unprecedented number of ambulances in the city of Cleveland. EMS has been around since 1975, and we have never had this level of pre-hospital care service available for this community until this time under Mayor Jackson's leadership with the assistance of the voters of the city of Cleveland. The other thing that is part of the collaboration that we've done under the mayor's leadership is with our hospital systems. You all know the situation with the trauma systems throughout the community. Utilizing the leadership of Metro Health, University Hospital, and Cleveland Clinic, Northeastern Ohio now has the only collaborative trauma system in the state of Ohio that ensures those individuals that are most critically ill get to the most critical life-saving facilities they can in the shortest possible time. That, coupled with the enhancements on the EMS side pre-hospitally, will significantly impact patient outcomes in this community. The other things that we've done with the hospitals in the last year under the mayor's leadership and direction is we've eliminated emergency department diversions. For a long time, hospital emergency departments would close their doors to ambulance services in the community. Working with the chief medical officers of the 3 health systems and the Cuyahoga County executive, in March of this year, we eliminated that diversion. So now all of our emergency rooms stay open to all of our ambulance services throughout the community 24/7 to ensure that people will be able to get access to those facilities where they receive their care and can best handle whatever their situation is. Lastly, we've collaborated on stroke care in the community. Those of you that have been around covering the city and the Cleveland Clinic for a while know that we have a mobile stroke unit that regularly and routinely responds along with EMS, providing life-saving intervention for those citizens that are experiencing a stroke right at their doorstep in our community. This program's been in effect about 1.5 years, and that put us on the map with the only community in the country that provided this level of care. So today, yes, we're certainly talking about adding 3 more ambulances, but really I think the buzzword to take away from this is collaboration, and all of that collaboration has been done under Mayor Jackson's leadership, Commissioner Carlton's leadership, and continuing to put resources in place to ensure the welfare of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. And if I could say anything that is the most important besides our collaboration is enhanced services to our residents and the community. Adding additional resources to take care of the pre-hospital care needs of our citizens is of utmost importance, and decreasing response time that it takes for us to get to them is paramount to their survivability rates and outcome rates. And on the final note is, obviously you notice that all these new bases are at the police districts. And I can't thank Commander Stocco, who is Captain Mazdak is representing him, Commander Fay, and Commander Cutts over at the 4th District and 1st District. And the collaboration that we've had with the Division of Police over the past 2 years, everybody is well aware of when it comes to training and them actually utilizing the first aid kits. And most recently is the training we provided for them for naloxone to take care of overdose victims. And their partners that they've been with us over the last several years has really enhanced, and I appreciate their efforts in letting us operate out of their headquarters. So thank you to them, and we can open up for questions or tours of the facility if you would like, where we put them. Any questions?
Can you talk about what spurred this?
As far as additional resources,
yes.
We look at the 2017 Enhanced Mayor's Budget and Issue 32, and Mayor Jackson recognizing that the call volume for medical needs of the community has increased steadily over the past 10 years. It's significantly gone up, and recognizing that we aren't meeting the needs of the community when it comes to response times, and with the passage of Issue 32, we were able to add the resources necessary to bring up the number of ambulances and hire the personnel that we need.
Could you mention the calls for service and the increase in your calls for service from the internet.
Yeah, okay.
So you get a better perspective as to why this is so important that we increase their capacity to deliver service. Response time in a medical situation, just like with police and fire, is essential. And our response time was not what we believe adequate. This helps us to reduce it. But there's some data that really will give you an indication as to the call volume that they were getting in terms of increase.
I will. Mayor, thank you. From 2000, we took in about 85,000 911 calls, and we transported about 50,000 patients to the hospital. Fast forward to today, we're scheduled to take about 120,000 calls and transporting about 75 to 80,000 patients to the hospital. So we're almost transporting as many patients as 911 calls that we took, back in 2000. So the significant needs of the community has increased the calls for service.
You referenced how seconds count in this kind of situation. I know that the average response time is just under 12 minutes. So I think this will keep that at a steady pace or maybe decrease that response.
Our goal once we had all the personnel on and bringing up to 25 ambulances is under 8 minutes. Obviously adding 3 we're not going to get that significant impact just yet, but it's making a difference in the response times, and having additional call takers and dispatchers allows us to utilize them better.
Do the additional 3 units, do they begin today? When is the official start date there?
Today. It's when they've moved into the base locations, and the last class was released and they're on their own, so that's why we're able to increase the service.
And is the station anything more than this is just kind of their home base? Is there any sort of equipment here?
This is their home base. They have just a little sitting location. They have a computer and things like that, but most of their supplies come out of our office, but they will have a minimal amount here, and it's their base location where they report to, and depending on call volume, where they'll respond from. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Good morning and welcome to Cleveland Metropolitan School District's Orchard School. I am Lori Ward, Chief Talent Officer for the district, and we are delighted to host the Mid-American Conference's media conference announcing a grant that will complement our teacher recruitment and retention strategy, which is a component of the Cleveland Plan. Although we are experiencing success in attracting and recruiting excellent teachers, and we exceed the percentage of teachers that continue to teach after year 2 as compared to our colleagues in the Council of the Great City Schools, we are fortunate to have partners that are investing to improve our efforts. I would like to extend my gratitude to the MAC Conference, the College Football Playoff Foundation, the Cleveland Foundation, and the George Gunn Foundation for investing in CMSD, as well as the collaboration of the Cleveland Teachers Union. Thank you for attending, and Commissioner Steinbrecher.
Thank you, Lori, and I am pleased that you could join us for this announcement today. And if you will allow me a few moments, let me take you on a brief journey to explain how we arrived here. Back in 2011 and 12, I had the honor to participate in Leadership Cleveland. And this is a wonderful program that provided me, someone who at that time had only been in Cleveland for 3 years, with a tremendous overview of the entire Cleveland landscape, interacting with government, civic, and business leaders. And among the people I had the opportunity to learn from were Mayor Frank Jackson and Cleveland Metropolitan School District Superintendent Eric Gordon. I was impressed with Mayor Jackson's overview of Cleveland, its strengths, the challenges it faces, the opportunities for growth, and his plans for moving forward. Superintendent Gordon's passion for improving Cleveland schools and his vision for the children of Cleveland were inspiring. Just a few years ago, the Mid-American Conference was one of 10 NCAA Division I football bowl subdivision conferences that formed the College Football Playoff. As part of that, the College Football Playoff Foundation was created. The purpose of the foundation is to support education from early childhood through high school. Its primary focus is to elevate the teaching profession by inspiring and empowering quality teachers. Last week, the Mid-American Conference announced it was providing to its 12-member institution funds from the College Football Playoff Foundation to support teachers in each of its member institution communities. Additionally, through the College Football Playoff Foundation, I was able to secure a $500,000 grant over the next 5 years for a single project. However, I wanted to do more and obtain additional funding so that the programming we could support would have greater reach and depth. I met with two treasures of this community, the Cleveland Foundation and the George Gunn Foundation, organizations that have greatly contributed to the betterment of Cleveland. I am grateful that they were willing to collaborate and support the vision of the Mid-American Conference. As a result, I am pleased to announce that the Mid-American Conference has secured and will provide a $1 million grant for the Cleveland Metropolitan School District over the next 5 years for use in new teacher development and retention programs and teacher recognition programs. The Teaching Cleveland initiative will assist the school district in retaining its best new teachers so they continue to grow professionally and contribute to the well-being of our students. Critical to the educational success of our students are teachers. We want to make sure that we retain them. I look forward to the implementation of the Teaching Cleveland and believe it will have a profound effect on the efforts of Cleveland's teachers in providing quality educational experiences for the boys and girls of Cleveland. Thank you to the College Football Playoff Foundation, the George Gunn Foundation, and the Cleveland Foundation for collaborating with the Mid-American Conference in this effort. And thank you to the Cleveland Teachers Union for their active participation in the development of Teaching Cleveland. The Mid-American Conference is proud to be part of Cleveland. Annually, our conference basketball tournament at the Q, along with hosting assorted NCAA events, means millions of dollars in economic development for Cleveland. This project is another way for the Mid-American Conference to give back to the community and is another example of action speaking louder than words. One of the guiding principles I carry with me as someone who works in the field of higher education comes from the philosopher Plutarch, who said, quote, "A mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be lighted." That is what our teachers do. We hope this program assists Cleveland Metropolitan School District teachers in their efforts to, in fact, light that fire in the minds of the kids of Cleveland. Let me welcome at this time the Mayor, Frank Jackson.
Good morning. You know, I want to, first of all, congratulate the school district on receiving the award, but most of all, I want to thank the MAC for coming up with the ideal and really honchoing it through in a way that we are able to receive the money to do the work. Also, the foundation and both the Football Foundation and the Gunn and Cleveland Foundation. You know, as we look at urban environments and we look at the uniqueness of urban environments, it does take individuals, teachers who understand that environment and who are able to get the most out of it. And everyone is not able to do that. So as part of this recruitment effort and the retention effort, I imagine there will be a component that will look at how do we use certain tools or techniques to get the most out of our children who are urban children and turn those what may seem to be disruptive or bad behaviors into productive outcomes for them. And it's all about teaching. It's just not the ABC, it's also the individual you're dealing with and how do you get the most out of them. And our teachers do a great job. So the recruitment effort, the retention effort, and giving them the tools necessary to be successful is very important. So again, congratulations to the district, and thank you very much for your efforts. Thank you.
Good morning. I also wanted to share a few remarks to thank our colleagues from the Mid-American Conference and all of the partners engaged in this. I wanted to just share briefly a story that Dr. Steinbrecher shared when we were exploring this, and I asked the question, so what is it that that the MAC and the foundation focused on teaching, the Extra Yard for Teachers program through the foundation. And really excited about this opportunity, but why is this so important? And what Dr. Steinbrecher didn't share is his role in shepherding through that the Mid-American Conference schools, and frankly all university schools, are dependent upon the student that we send them to be successful, and that dependency requires the very best teachers in our classroom, and therefore his personal mission in bringing the dollars that could have very well stayed at only the member institutions into our community and for our teachers. And so I want to personally thank Commissioner Steinbrecher and the MAC organization for that really forward-thinking dedication to where the work is really happening with our kids in our classrooms. And we will continue through the MAC schools where many of our students attend and where I personally attended to send you students that are worthy of your institutions. So thank you for that. I also wanted to just take a moment to share about our strategy in Cleveland. We have made gains. Last Thursday our report card was announced, and we have another record high graduation rate and have closed the achievement gap in urban graduation by 20% in the last 5 years, having one of the fastest growing graduation rates in the state of Ohio. Our K-3 literacy, kids reading on time, we more than doubled the number of kids who are reading on track compared to just a year ago, and surpassed 88 other districts, making us a C-rated district in K-3 literacy, while some of the better districts are still struggling to figure out how to move their achievement. None of that happens if we do not focus on a talent-seeking strategy that puts the very best teachers and educators in front of our children and trusting and empowering them here in schools, not in offices, to ensure that they deliver what kids need. And you heard the mayor talk about the context in urban education matters, having having educators who are committed to not just young people, but our young people, our scholars, and what their potential is and what their needs are. And so to do that, we started something called Teach Cleveland. We are very aggressive at looking for the very best talent, not only here locally and among the MAC districts, the MAC colleges, which have a lot of teacher preparation, but nationally looking for the very best people. And over the last 3 years, we've hired, or excuse me, the last 4 years, we've hired over 1,000 new educators to join our institution. But we also know that we're not unlike our peers in not only urban education, but in education, and the retention rates of those newest teachers are low, approximately 73% nationally, and for us, just above 80%. Some of that is intentional, that this work is not the right match, and we're very blessed to have been able to keep the majority of our very great people and help people who maybe need a different experience to find it. But some of it is we don't, after we recruit these wonderfully talented people to join our educational family, we then don't have the background support that they need and deserve as new educators in our environment. And that's where Teaching Cleveland, our new program that we will launch with this $1 million gift from the MAC Foundation, the Cleveland Foundation, and the Gunn Foundation, will serve so critically well. If we're going to accelerate the gains we met, that is going to be done by our teachers and our educators, and we need to be able to invest in them. And so I want to particularly thank again Commissioner Steinbrecher for seeing down that road and knowing that the future health and success of not only the MAC institutions, but the others that are influenced through the foundation are in investments in our communities and not simply investing in their own institutions when our students arrive. I think it's forward thinking and something we intend to very faithfully put into place. So thank you to the MAC Foundation and to all of our supporters, and I will now turn it over to my colleague, David Quilke.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Cleveland Teachers Union, I too would like to thank the Mid-American Conference, the College Football Playoff Foundation, the Cleveland Foundation, the Gunn Foundation, and CMSD for partnering with us on this. It is critical that we work to support and retain great teachers. Whether it's the mentoring program we offer through our resident educator program or our peer assistance and review program, the Cleveland Teachers Union understands the critical importance of providing support, mentoring, and resources to new teachers. And we know how important that support is during an educator's first 5 years. Almost every educator could tell you a story of how they see some of the most incredible new teachers choose to leave the profession early on. And very often, it's because we couldn't provide the support and mentoring they needed. And we all know that when we lose great new teachers, it's our kids who lose out. I still recall my first year of teaching. I moved to Cleveland from Pittsburgh. I bought a car 2 weeks before I started teaching, drove up the next day, walked into school 2 weeks later and was handed a set of keys and said, go ahead and do what you do. Too often, that was the story of how new teachers got support in our schools. We've come a long, long way since then, and we understand the importance of mentoring and providing those supports, because one of the best quotes I've ever heard is, to teach is to touch a life forever. And we know that our new educators want to live up to that dream, and it's up to us to help provide that support and resources. So we are delighted and excited on this new partnership, really to get those supports needed to our new teachers. And on that, I'd like to turn it over to one of our new teachers to give you her experience.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mrs. Batabat, and I would like to thank all of you for coming to Orchard. It is my pleasure to be chosen to give this speech as a retained newly hired teacher. When I first sat down to write this speech, hundreds of thoughts were flying around in my mind. To summarize, my teaching mission started here at Cleveland Metropolitan School District and a suburb district at the same time. Although I was accepted in both districts, but I felt highly welcomed and appreciated for my contributions and my achievement with my students. Add to that, Cleveland Metropolitan School District provide and value its teachers. They provide phenomenal professional development opportunities to newly hired teachers. Here at Orchard STEM School, we are extremely fortunate to have supportive and influential administrators. I work with hardworking staff members who are willing to work with each other. We meet weekly to collaborate in our teacher-based team, which is supported by administrators as well. I was granted a very unique opportunity here at Orchard. I was able to receive a technology training and became an Apple Distinguished Teachers. I feel so glad that my students are able to receive their special education with technology is being integrated into the common curriculum, which help our students go above and beyond the call of duty. I am very lucky to be able to work at such a diverse school in a diverse district. Teaching is about being able to pass on knowledge to the future generations of students, who in turn make new innovations in our society. All teachers make difference, but here at CMSD, we make a huge and different difference in our students' life. We change lives. I am very thankful every day that I was able to stay at this district and be a positive influence on our students' lives. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all again for coming. And was that a message?
Yes.
Okay. I think you need to take away 2 words. Mrs. Batabat said, we make a difference in CMSD. So glad to have you.